All right, so hello everyone.
Okay.
This is our very first OES Global podcast, and we're here with Melissa Schechter, President, CEO, owner, all of that good stuff. And we're just going to try and figure this out, one question at a time.
I love tackling the unknown.
Absolutely.
Yes, this is great.
So because a lot of people may or may not know who OES Global is, we're just going to start from the very beginning. Most people have never heard the name OES Global, but they've almost certainly used one of the products that we probably distribute or sell. So for all the people out there, who is OES Global and what do we do all day?
Wow, that's a very good question,
Right?
Jake. All right, thank you so much for asking.
Of course.
Well, I will say that we work with a great group of people, and we love coming to work and providing products and solutions for folks. It started out with some Gatorade for some people much in need for large bulk hydration. It's hot out there, and people needed somebody to buy all this industrial Gatorade products from. But then, you know, we had some folks that wanted some traffic cones, and we found a whole different kind of business model in providing different kind of traffic safety and solutions, from valet to delineators to vertical sign panels and custom event signage and all sorts of really cool stuff. So we spent a lot of time trying to solve pain points for customers, making it really easy for them to purchase products that aren't readily available in other channels.
Sure.
So we're really awesome at what we do.
Yeah. When was OES Global started?
Well, technically, it actually was founded in 2014, technically.
Over 10 years, people.
Yeah, that's 12.
12
right?
years.
That's 12 years.
Yeah.
We've been doing great. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So specifically, we know OES Global. Like, what are some of the things that OES Global actually sells? Like, are there what would you call the individual channels that you have, and how would you explain the OES Global ecosystem?
Well, we put it together sort of organically, so as people ask for certain things or we saw certain pain points, but we kind of wrap it all up together as, you know, selling products that provide protecting people and property solutions. So that is kind of the overarching, you know, rhythm to everything that we sell.
Sure.
Yeah.
With that, what are the four main brands that I know, but maybe people out there don't know? So you've got OES Global, and then what are the brands that are protecting those people and property?
And their property.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Jake. Okay. Well, it started off with Hydration Depot. So obviously selling hydration products, you know, to folks. They could be brands like Gatorade or Squincher, Hydro-Freeze, My High, All Sport, Liquid IV. I mean, a lot of different products available in that category right now. Then we got into traffic cones. So we sell traffic safety products under Traffic Cones for Less.
Traffic safety products and/or barricades.
And barricades, and side barricades over here. But and then we have roll-up signs for less, a whole different kind of category of construction and event signage that is really interesting to manufacture. We fabricate those ourselves. We have SD2K Valet, also came out of the traffic safety requests, because we were selling a lot of these black delineators and black cones to valet and parking operations, and they wanted to have somebody that provided all the products, signage, custom wrap podiums, and solutions for those. So we came up with that. And then we have absorbents for less, which is really like an industrial absorbing product, a really interesting sort of, you know, niche industry that really has got a lot of fun. A lot of good products there too.
I mean, I can kind of see the vein of safety between all those companies, but is there one common thread that you would say that kind of unites all of these niches or verticals together?
Wow. Well, it is the protecting people and property. I mean, they do all fall under that. But I will say, why we've chosen these things and what makes them special, and why we've been so successful growing at, you know, a minimum of double digits every year organically since, you know, we started, is that we really go for being awesome at what we do. We go for, you know, delivering products and solutions that offer value, offer the best, you know, curated products. We really do spend a lot of time looking to make sure that we provide exactly the right product, exactly the right value. We don't really want to be a Me Too company and sell everything. We really curate the selection. We try to put together packages and bundles that provide great value, you know, to the customer, be able to maximize their dollars, and offer factory direct shipping and wholesale pricing, and you know, direct portals for their locations to order. So really a full encompassing pain point resolution model for all of those particular products.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I think that another thing that would be awesome for everyone out there to know is maybe our unofficial or official slogan of what it is that we try to sell.
Oh my God, no.
He can cut it out if you don't want it in there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we are looking to sell a lot of something.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because it is a shitload of something. But,
yeah,
but the reason
there it
I
is.
say a shitload, it's not because we want to sell people a lot. You know,
Right.
obviously that's not the motivation. The motivation is if I can get people to buy right and buy in bulk, I can pass along the savings of that factory direct pricing to them. So it is sort of like the Costco-esque model, like really buy more and you're going to save more. It is not just a marketing slogan. We are actually trying to pass along the freight savings, which is tremendous. I mean, these products are extremely heavy. So
if I wanted to buy 300 traffic cones, you would kind of try and teach me that maybe there's a better way to buy because they're not going to go bad. And if you wanted to get 6 more to fit on a pallet, you're just getting all of those for even cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is, right way selling. It is, some people call it like upselling or trying to get people to buy more. I mean, we really are not upselling. We're really trying to educate our clients and the people that buy from us to buy the right amount so we can pass along the maximum savings, which is really determined by how the manufacturer will ship or how many we can fit on a pallet, logistics of the actual freight company and how to maximize that. So if we can actually pass that along and really educate people, to that, then we're really going to save them money. So the answer is yes. That's exactly what we want.
Amazing. We got some more questions here. That was only number 1 of 13.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay,
So like I'm saying, this is going to be awesome long form.
All right. Let's do it.
Here we go. Number 2. So this is the first of what's going to be like an ongoing series.
Okay.
Like we're finding a way.
Yeah.
We're getting better at things day by day. First, before I run down the question, can you just explain, what find a way means to you and maybe what it means for all of our companies and why we kind of picked that as our, moniker internally?
Wow. Great question. Once again, Jake, I mean, I have to say that, it's been an evolution of learning, being in business and building this company, starting out with just me and, having a great team of people around me now that we've hired very intentionally, just great quality people to help continue to build the company. But, the ethos has always been that, if you just want to be a Me Too company, you're going to be a Me Too company. And if you want to really be excellent or awesome at what you do, you have to always try to find a way, whether it's answer a call in the middle of the night or find a way to, get a product to somebody that really needs it or, go above and beyond to hire Sprinter vans to make deliveries when nobody else will do it or be available for emergency preparedness situations and disaster relief when, people need truckloads of Gatorade or hydration products delivered to a disaster zone. So like that whole find a way mentality is so like culturally important to us because it really does set us apart that we, if you actually call, you get somebody on the phone that actually cares about taking care of our customers. I mean, what we do is important. The products that we sell is important. They do protect people and property, and it's important that that sense of urgency be prevalent in everything that we do. So it is part of our mission.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have such a strong team is I think everybody really embodies, that culture because it's not just find a way so, we can make a paycheck. It's find a way so we can really help people, take care of what's important to them and make sure that we're doing a really good job and they can count on us and then recommend us to all their other colleagues and friends so that they have a company that, really does do what they say and it goes above and beyond. So that's what find a way means to me.
Yeah. And for everyone that doesn't know out there, I mean, I'm pretty sure that this entire company was founded on that principle of someone asked a question of, can you get me this Gatorade powder?
Yeah.
And you might not have really known how to do it, but you said, sure, I'll figure out a way. And then, 12 or 13 years later, here we are.
Well,
we're doing a podcast.
With the cones, I was like, wow,
Right.
you want what? And by the way, that was very intimidating, the cones, because that guy, it was a marathon client of ours. I still remember his name, Aaron Palian. Thank you so much.
Shout out, Aaron.
Shout out, Aaron, from the Houston Marathon. I'm not sure if he still does that or not, but I still remember your name, and I still mention you all the time. And that he asked for something that you didn't have, I didn't really know anything about, and actually was rather intimidated. There's lots of sizes and shapes and, weights and collar configurations. And I was like, oh, well, hope I get them the right thing.
Yeah.
And, I did a little research and found the answers and was able to get him a good price and get it to him when he needed it, where he needed it. And the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah.
So as we keep doing things like this, I wanted to kind of just ask, like, why is sitting down and telling these stories to the, larger audience, why is this kind of important to you?
Well, I have to say it's a little impromptu. I wasn't anticipating telling you a story today.
Right.
But I think it's important because, in this world of, big businesses and all these chat bots and all this impersonal service, that there really is a company and people that are building something that's really important, that are building careers, giving people an opportunity to work for like a great company that really cares about them, that really focuses on culture, that really has meaning behind what they do, and that really wants to make sure that we provide solutions to people that need these products that really do protect people and property, and make sure, especially in the hydration sector. I mean, it is like really hot out there, and making sure that people are properly hydrated and offering them all the different options so they really will drink it, not just like a one size fits all, but really catering towards the dietary and flavor preference and distribution method, whether it's ready to drink or from a cooler or a bottle of water or mixing a powder into like a bottle of water or a Yeti, that that we offer that to people so that we can provide that solution, that they have it readily available to them. So I think like telling the story is really important, because I think that's one of the things that makes us special, is that, and why we have attracted such great people, and that people want to work here too, is because we really do great things and have great careers and great promotions from within, and really have meaningful work that we do. So I think it's really important.
Yeah. So as we continue doing these, if you can kind of give us a roadmap of like maybe what we might be hearing in the future, why does this matter to us now, over the next however many series of this, like maybe what we're going to get into, will it be like the people, the customers, the weird problems that we get called in to solve? Like, is it going to be a little bit about everything, or like, is there one...
Are you talking about for the podcasting?
Yeah, like for these types of questions where we get to really like dive deep into like exactly like what we want to, kind of talk about or put out there. Like, is there any like, cliffhangers you want to give the people? What might be to come?
Well, I will say that, I love like working on complicated, new, interesting, projects, and expanding our reach, to make sure that we are, pushing ourselves into the uncomfortable. One of my favorite sayings, I think it's on our dashboard today, there's no coasting uphill, right? So, and there's so much like market and so much untapped potential that I think it's really exciting to be able to go and try to mine all of that great gold that we have and share that with this great team, so that we can really build like amazing careers together. And so yeah, we have some cool stuff. We're going to go like a little international. We're working on some proprietary products, like making sure that we fill needs in the hydration space that aren't currently filled.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, we got some cool advertising type cone marketing opportunities that are really cool there, game changing, and so there's like some cool stuff in the pipeline.
All right, well, that's amazing. We've got plenty to talk about in future episodes, but for right now, I've got some more questions that are geared to what's going on in the world like right now.
Let's hear it.
So we already know that now OES Global has about 4 major brands, and they all kind of intersect with each other. There's cones on the highway, there's water at emergency, there's valet at hotel. So what is it like building the invisible layer of like having all of these communicate in like everyday life?
Can you rephrase the
Sure.
question? Okay.
Let me read it directly instead of trying to go off of my head.
All right.
OES runs 5 brands, or no, we already answered that one, sorry. So we're going to change questions completely because we already answered that one. And we're flying by the seat of our pants. So,
exactly. I love it.
Tell me about someone on the team who took a total left turn to get here. So it could be someone who never thought in a million years they would be maybe in the industry that they're in the position that they're in, or maybe even in the field that they're in, just somebody you never thought would be working for OES Global, or they never thought they'd be working here.
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of really great success stories. I'm hoping actually we are going to put those stories on our site. I know I gave them to, you know, our web team a little while ago. But
New OES Global website at oesglobalinc.com. Go check it out.
yeah, exactly. Yes, because we have some really great, you know, I will say nothing makes me feel better than like really like finding potential in somebody that maybe didn't see that potential in themselves, or that weren't given opportunities, or didn't know that they could, you know, tackle like a totally different career. We have Rachel, who's our accounting manager, really was working as a waitress, you know, during COVID, and obviously that wasn't something that was going to help her very much since all the restaurants were closed. And she was willing to take a leap of faith and join us to, you know, learn accounting and become part of our team. Totally different skill set, very obviously intimidating to want to come work for a company that you don't know anything about the products, you don't know obviously this particular skill, but willing to learn. Raise your hand. And like I said, you know, from there to being our accounting manager, which is awesome. We have David in the back, who I just met, you know, when we were building out our place here. I was doing some scrap metal work and really, you know, wasn't looking for a full-time job, and was sort of, you know, enjoying this sort of hunting and pecking kind of lifestyle, and you know, really took a leap of faith and joined us here on the team. Now he's like our stencil and silkscreen master, really runs that department. Gave him a whole new opportunity in life, and something that he never thought he would be doing, and really actually, you know, gives me a great sense of pride to see somebody whose, you know, life has totally been changed by you know, us offering that opportunity, and you know, seeing the potential there. We've got Steve, who was on the, you know, really at the end of his career, was at the end of his career, really retired person, just looking to share his knowledge with young people in selling. Wasn't, you know, ready to really, you know, hang up his hat there, but, you know, didn't want a full-time job. And, you know, we kind of met each other, and I said, why don't you come here and, you know, just work as much as you want. We'll create a schedule that's just for you. You can like impart your wisdom and all the years of knowledge. And oh
boy, does he have some wisdom, folks.
Yes, he's got a lot of wisdom. Yeah. And that, you know, really is a great sense of family and knowledge, and just like a really good guy. Really glad he's part of the team, and it's really great for him too. He's got a place to go and people that care about him, and I think that's absolutely awesome. We have Casey, who started off in customer service, now our director of operations. I mean, what a great trajectory for him. Really been here, I don't know, 4 years or something. Came in with no knowledge. Although I did like his scrappy little selling vacuum cleaners door to door. I said, gotta like somebody that's willing to do that for a living. And but really just a great young guy. Raises his hand, steps up, you know, digs in, doesn't wait for, you know, for people to, you know, mention problems or situations, jumps right in, gets it done. So, like, amazing. I mean, is that enough for right now?
No, I mean, I think that's perfect for now. I mean, I've only been here like a year, maybe almost 2 years now. But all the people that she mentioned, like, I've had the pleasure to work with over the last almost 2 years. And I think that the more that we do this, the more we can open it up, bring other people on, and we can really like dive in deeper to the people who work here, because it is a very special place, and like the stories that the people have to share here, I think, are worth sharing. So we'll definitely dive into those a little later. Moving on to something that you mentioned earlier that I think is very relevant in 2026. You said that we're not, you know, a company that, you know, uses chatbots exclusively, or when you call in, it's like a phone screen or like an AI type of voice. Like, if you were to call the phone right now, Steve, Casey, like all those people that you mentioned, like they're going to be picking up the phone. So a real human answering the phone in 2026, that almost feels like a lifestyle statement. So what are we trying to say by like not having like AI chatbots or like AI agents answer the phone? Like, why are we so not dead set, but why do we prefer to have real people answer the phone?
Well, I will say it's not anti-technology, because I believe in technology, and I think, you know, we're an e-commerce company, so obviously we're selling on a technology platform. But what I think is important, you know, just in life and in business and culturally, I think it's important to work with real people, to not work remote, to work as a team. Like we're like creatures that like you know, working in groups. You know, we don't really like being isolated. That I think that we share a lot of wisdom and knowledge together, and I think that actually having somebody you can actually call that has a find a way attitude, is willing to go and ask those questions, find out the answer, maybe even knows the answer, willing to go in the back and measure something, take it out, test it, like send you pictures of it in situ. I mean, having that ability to actually have real experts, real people to talk to about these very important products to make sure you're getting the right one, I just think is paramount to our business and the way we like to do business, and just can't replace that with robots and chatbots and other things. So I think it's part of like our culture.
Yeah. All of the interviews that we've been doing with the customer service team out there, it tends that the relationships that they're building are like some of the things that maybe are even more valuable than like some of the things that we buy day in and day out. Like you can't really put a value on the relationships that you have with some of these people, especially when they're ordering, safety products. Like they want to believe that, the thing that they're buying from us sold from a real person talking to them. Like there's a little bit of, trust in the person when they're talking to them on the phone.
Right.
And then, coming back time and time again, I would like to say that it's beyond just the price. Like at the end of the day, I feel like our customer service agents do build relationships. And from everyone that we talked to earlier today, like Ty has maybe 100 people in his phone that text him after work and just like enjoy talking to him. So I think that there's a lot of like relationship type building that they're also doing that is kind of like a secondary thing to just beyond like serving or servicing them. Like there's a lot of like interpersonal relationship building.
No, and it's special. In fact, when you came in before, and who I'm emailing over here too, is somebody really I reached out to on LinkedIn, and I was really inviting them to our Florida Parking and Transportation show to make sure that he was going. And was actually really surprised. Like, kind of responded to me in LinkedIn, like, "Hey, like, are you like a real person? Like, or is this like some kind of AI generated thing?" And I'm like, "No." I said, this is old-fashioned, one by one, me, putting in a message to individual people, individual comments.
Yeah.
Like, I am doing this because I think personal one-on-one communication is really important, and people have forgotten that. And it's so nice. So it's like getting a card in the mail like, instead of an email. It's so nice and refreshing to have like that. And people are resorting back to that. It's like people are getting into knitting and crocheting and all these sort of like
everything's a circle,
old-fashioned stuff, because everyone wants to get away from all this technology. And people do like talking to people. And who doesn't like talking to nice people?
Of course.
Yeah.
With you being on LinkedIn and becoming a little more tech savvy, what we wanted to ask was, after a decade of working, or more than a decade at this point, of working in these types of industries, what do you believe about people and work now that you didn't believe when you started, or maybe didn't know when you first started?
Well, I mean, I wish I actually was more in touch with, all the folks that we do deal with, customer-wise. I mean, although I do look at all the orders, I like to see the type of clients that we sell to, and so I can understand that the market. I mean, back in the day, when I started, I was the only one. So obviously I knew everything about everybody, because I obviously, dealt with all the orders and answered the phones. But I think that, the way we are putting together our products and our feedback from our team, and just looking at the type of orders and the type of requests that we get, and making sure that we're very progressive and fast to answer these like pain points in the market. Like I think that this is something that I've really grown to really appreciate more, is that really like paying attention to these small cues, or just the subtle differences in the way we present products, or the way we look at our products is like not just commodities that you can just buy on Amazon or wherever. In fact, there was an article that they wrote about me in the South Florida Business Journal about how do you compete in an e-commerce world against a company like Amazon. And listen, Amazon's great at what they do. I mean, they really are. But you have to be great at what you do and know who you are. So I think us continuing to evolve our products, our offerings, our creating certain sectors, creating different ways our products are used, really understanding the market, creating that value, I think has really like helped us. And I continue to look at that all the time. So I'm not 100% sure that answers your question.
No, that's good.
I think it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think another thing that we're going to be delving in deeper as we do more of these is like all of the people that we do business with.
Yeah.
Because for traffic cones, hydration, valet, and absorbance, there are a lot of surprising clients that we do business with that maybe the average person would never even, kind of connect the dots and be like, oh, like we've sold cones to NASA and to Tesla and to Target and countless others.
And by the way, I have to say, I never really told you the story about the NASA, the NASA cones.
Well, what better time than right now?
Oh my God. Well, we sold to the Jet Propulsion Lab, and I have to be honest, they just got cones and delineators for the parking lot, with JPL on there. So it was Jet Propulsion Lab, and they did send us pictures, which wasn't that impressive because it just looks like traffic cones in a parking lot. There was no Jet Propulsion.
But we're supporting a crazy big company.
No, but wait. But the really cool one was with NASA when I got a call from like one of the rocket scientist guys, like way back in the day, and he's like, we have a problem. He's like, we have these cones, and they have this like Cobra tape. So they have this like belted tape that goes from cone to cone because they're trying to cordon off this section by the launch pad. And like the cones that they were using were like very soft, pliable plastic. And when they sat out there in the heat, and maybe the heat from the rocket engines and the tension from this belted stanchion topper thing that was on there, like they would sort of cave in. And this was very upsetting to them because they needed them to be like cordoned off. So we actually got a bunch of different traffic cones from a bunch of different manufacturers, not just the ones we normally sold, but some of the other brands and off brands. We put them out in our parking lot. We did our own little NASA testing to see if it would meet like the criteria for his heat, stress, under tension traffic, and we found the right cone for him.
Do you remember who won?
It was an Enviro cone. It's a cone that I don't really love this cone because it is really rigid.
Sure.
And if you run it over, it's going to break apart in 1,000 pieces and probably damage your vehicle if you hit it. But for this particular situation, this was spot on. That was a find away.
That was. I was getting ready to say.
And by the way, this was like literally like a NASA scientist. Like I felt like I was being consulted by a rocket scientist to help him do his job. I'm like, how cool was that?
Were.
I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we did.
And
that
we're doing these because people out there need to know that we're helping rocket science when they can't figure out what type of cone they need that can withstand the heat. We're going to find a way to get that for them.
I did. That's true.
Absolutely.
I love that story. Yeah.
One of the other things that I wanted to talk about in terms of clients, the World Cup just wrapped up.
Yeah.
Shout out to Spain. Congratulations to Spain.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was held in I believe it was the New Jersey Stadium.
Yes.
However, there were a lot of games that were played at the Miami Stadium.
Yes.
And we do a lot of business with the Miami down there in the Hard Rock.
Yes.
So what is it like supporting one of the most iconic venues through the World Cup? And then what does game day, match day, or any of those other type of things look like from our side of the fence? Like maybe we didn't sell them anything specifically for the World Cup, but supporting a venue.
I think we did.
Yeah.
We sold them like some Hydro Freeze or electrolyte freezer pops.
Sure.
We did do that because God knows it was like smoking hot.
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. That's for the staff.
Well, and even most of those players, they're not accustomed to the heat over here. I think that was one of the biggest things that they talked about when they were in their training camps was just how not acclimated to the heat that they were. So having all these hydration products, even though they might not have had them, maybe they should have.
Maybe. Well, we're working on it. I will say, I'm particularly proud of the Miami Dolphins Stadium or what is it called now? I think the Hard Rock Stadium, is that this would go back to being a find-away company. So originally they were not a customer of ours. And I was going to some football games back in the day to see the Dolphins, who still aren't that great. I'm sorry, Dolphins. Hopefully this year it'll be better. Yeah. But I would go and I would see all these cones that weren't mine, and I was like, I'm spending all this money going to see these games, and I'm like, gosh darn it, I'm going to go and be a supporter of this team and this stadium. They're going to go buy some cones.
Exactly.
And they had a lot of cones there. It's a big parking lot. And I worked on it and worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. I think it took me 3 years to get them to actually let me come see them. And Donald Rubio, shout out to you, Donald Rubio.
Shout out
Donald and Meryl, who's still there.
And Meryl, shout out
to Meryl. And they finally said, sure, I like your tenacity. You're a scrappy young lady, and I like scrappy young people, and let's go and see if we can't get you some cone business. And then, and not just give it to me because, they wanted to do something nice, but we really built a relationship that when they needed something on the fly, if they had a special event, event, if they, needed something on a Saturday. I mean, like, go above and beyond. Text me anything you need. Get you those rain suits that we found them overnight, got them down there for their F1 races. Go in there and make sure that we do whatever we have to do, whether it's stencils for the parking lot, or we even got them like custom concrete block signs that they needed for some special event things that we had shipped in just for them. Like, really taking it, to heart to say, hey, let me make sure that I'm like a resource for them no matter what they need, when they need it, even if they forgot and they should have ordered earlier, that they know that, we're a company. So all these years later, I mean, it's probably been 10 years, maybe, I don't know, 8 years since, it's been a long time.
What do you think, that they took away from like your tenacity of like trying to hunt them down and earn their business? Like, why do you think people like are looking for that and like a business partner? And then maybe on our side, like if we're talking like building a company, like what are the traits that you obviously were showcasing to them to try and earn their business that maybe you're looking when you're trying to hire people for your business?
Well, I think, in anything that that you do, like if you want to be great at it, I mean, you have to be like tenacious. I mean, if you want to be a great athlete, or you want to be, a great salesperson or a great doctor or whatever it is, I mean, you've got to go and you've got to practice and you've got to try and you've got to, get better. And so I think, being tenacious, really does show that you're serious, that you really, want to earn their business, that they appreciate, that tenacity, that they know that, I'm going to deliver what I say, that it really is important to me. And at the end of the day, I think people do like to buy from people that feel like they genuinely appreciate their business, that, will go the extra mile. It's a rare commodity these days to find people that really are willing to step up, do what they say, be available, 24/7. The whole work-life balance thing, I think is not something I like to use as a term in this office. I said, because you really love what you do and you love your customers and they need you, and it's a Saturday and you were going to go do something else, you know what? I'm going to be the first one to step up and say, you got it. I'm going to come to the office, open up the doors. You can come get whatever you need. And I think people really appreciate that. And I think that that's an important way to set yourself, apart from all the other people that are just there. No, we're 9 to 5. That's all we do. Call us or don't call us. Maybe we follow up. Maybe we don't. The order got there, didn't get there. I'm like, that's not how we roll.
So we already touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to jump back to it. When all of the European players came, well, not European players, global world players came over here and they experienced the American heat for the first time, a lot of them were kind of like dumbfounded. We've been living in America our whole lives, but from where you sit, because of the country that's in a heat wave right now, what's the story of the summer that maybe isn't making headlines about this heat wave?
I don't know. Isn't it like, it seems to be like every year it's like hot,
it's every year it's just going to be hotter and hotter, and it never seems to stop.
I don't know, but then you have these big polar ice storms and stuff. So I don't know. There's obviously all these conspiracy theories, or maybe it's true, maybe it's not. With global warming, but I don't know. I'm certainly no scientist. I'm not going to comment on any of that political rhetoric stuff. But I think it has become more of an issue. I mean, people do work in some of these terrible environments. This is how we started this company. I mean, we're lucky for the most part. We work in an indoor air-conditioned office. I mean, our warehouse is not air-conditioned, although we do provide a lot of these products to our folks. And we have fans and things and cooling gear, to make it more tolerable for them. But even for them, it's not so terrible. There's some people these construction workers doing physical labor out in 100+ degree weather. I mean, this is stifling, terrible environments to work in. And even some of our other clients, I mean, we sell to places like Nucor Steel and some of these commercial laundry, Bimbo bakeries, and these, I mean, they got ovens on, they're melting steel. I mean, these are some harsh environments.
On top of, 110 degrees or whatever it is.
And they, really, I think employers are doing the right thing by providing these products to their folks. I mean, you really do need more than just water. Actually, if you're really sweating, you are losing electrolytes, and providing a really good hydration package. I mean, not only is it the right thing to do, the human thing to do. I mean, it's the law thing to do, but it's also, you're going to get better productivity. You're going to give people what they want, that they're going to want to drink it because they like it. I mean, like it's just like a good symbiotic circle. So it's not just about keeping people hydrated. It's about you keep them hydrated because you want them to work, because you've got production schedules too that you need, and everybody needs like a little bit of everything, so it keeps like everything kind of flowing. So yeah, no, it's hot. That's why we sell a lot of hydration.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I think that we'll probably touch on that in like another episode, but just briefly, like explain what Hydration Depot is like the best at and why Hydration Depot carries so many different, flavors and so many different brands, and why we, sell it in bulk quantities.
Well, I mean, that is our specialty, and that is really was the pain point in the marketplace, is that there are obviously a lot of retail brands and commercially available hydration products. I mean, you see them in the grocery store, you see them on Amazon, you see them like everywhere. But I mean, there's nothing that really was catering towards, these large crews of people. And we really started actually with Nucor Steel, and they had, hundreds of like steel workers, and they're like, I don't want all these little packages and, retail package stuff. I want something that's in bulk. And I said, let's create something in bulk, for you. But, it's evolved more than that, because we created that specifically for them, and we've continued to add on to that with different flavor profiles and different dietary things. I said, but we kind of like our smorgasbord of hydration, or hydration smorgasbord. And
we're going to coin that term, by the way, smorgasbord of hydration.
Yeah, well, hydration or smorgasbord. I actually looked that up today. Interestingly enough, if it's trademarkable. So, but anyway,
stay tuned.
I know exactly. I'll keep you posted on that. But but I like the term because it's like a buffet of hydration, and the reason why I think that's so important, and one of the struggles that a lot of safety directors and safety managers have, is that compliance is difficult. If you just tell people to drink water and they don't like water, they're not water drinkers, or I don't know, there's an aversion to certain flavors or different types of products.
Sure.
You're not going to get the compliance that you want, which is what you really want your people to drink. So if you make it and give them products that they actually like and are willing to consume, then your job as a safety director, health and safety officer, is a lot easier, because you're providing them. And then listen, people do have different dietary needs. Some people don't want dyes. Some people don't want this kind of sugar. They want this sugar substitute. They got diabetics. They've got, just different taste profiles, different ways they want to consume it, different environments that they're in, to powders and water and coolers and ready to drink and, fountain, actually from bag in a box.
Right.
To the fountain systems and big, large cafeterias,
or canteens.
Exactly. So there's a lot of different ways that people consume these products, and a lot of different types of products and varieties. So being able to offer somebody like all of the different things as a safety director, health and safety officer, is so helpful to them. Because this way, hey, I've got you everything. Here's your smorgasbord. Come
to Hydration Depot. We've got everything you could ever need.
Exactly.
We'll make your job super easy.
Exactly. Love it. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in depth in another episode. It's been an awesome conversation.
Oh, awesome. Are we done?
I think we got one more.
Okay.
I think what would be fun to kind of wrap these up is maybe something out in the world that, it could be construed as funny. So what I want to talk about is what's the most ridiculous, every other vendor said no, so they called us, request that you've ever gotten. Doesn't necessarily have to be funny, but
come on, no, well, not funny. Our Pantone-Matched Tiffany traffic cones.
Yeah, perfect.
Come on.
Go ahead, start it off. So what is it, and what did we do?
Well, I will say that Tiffany's was opening their flagship store in New York City.
Tiffany's the
jewelry store.
The jewelry store, buying traffic cones in a custom Pantone-matched color.
Exactly. And not only that, well, I will say that we had created these Pantone-matched for somebody else during COVID that used this particular cone. So we didn't create it just for Tiffany, because you had to buy, by the way, $40,000 worth of traffic cones to get that color. So Tiffany only
a lot of traffic cones, folks.
They only needed 10. But what we did do for them was, because they were just ordering the Tiffany blue cones, because we were the only ones that had Tiffany blue cones, because we made those special. The only people that Pantone-matched traffic cones on the planet.
Only people in the world.
That's what we do. But we said, hey, I know you don't even want it, but I know you need these overnighted because your grand opening is tomorrow, but we are going to put your name and really make them Tiffany traffic cones. And we put their name on it without them really, requesting that. I mean, we did it with their permission, of course, because they sent us a logo, did it like in an hour, and FedExed them overnight so that they were right there ready for them on their grand opening and their new flagship store on Fifth Avenue. Yeah. And there they were. Yes. There you go.
Can you believe that, people?
Yeah.
So I hope that you all had a bit of fun learning a little bit more about OES Global, Melissa, and all of the brands that we have. We're going to maybe try and do this every week. And then if you have questions or comments or anything out there in the world, or if you just have a question that you want us to kind of dig a little deeper into, send Melissa a DM. She's active on LinkedIn now, or you can leave a comment under the video, or just give us a call. OESGlobalInc.com. You can find us there. We've got our not our website. We have our phone number. We have like a little email. You can email us. All of our other brands, our websites are all linked there. We have our brand new YouTube page. It's OES Global Media. That has like an awesome 2-minute long video explaining everything that we kind of talked about, but in a lot quicker form. So I think this was super awesome, super informative, and then we'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. Here, let's
cheers.
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 Awesome. Okay.
All right. That was cool.